experiencing prayer through music of the morning minyan, of the morning prayer, the morning shacharit service. And honestly, in most cases, there isn't a lot of music. It's not emphasized with the morning prayers because it's just the nusach, really. I'm going to elaborate on that because I'm going to find some texts, point out some texts that have some interesting compositions behind them. But morning minyan, in most cases, you just want to get through it. It's the obligation. It's the obligation that you have in the morning, and so there really isn't a tradition of emphasizing creative music things in minyan. In some cases, things are thrown in, a nice melody that people can enjoy, but in most cases. It's just an obligation that you want to get through. So you recite your prayers, and of course they're led by usually a professional or just someone in the congregation who's learned it. So I'm going to share the screen with the Siddur, and I think you'll enjoy these melodies that I've assembled. The first thing is the Modeh Ani, or Moda Ani Lifanecha, of entering the synagogue with a little with the ritual of the Matovu. There is Matovu. And of course, we all know Matovu. As we sit in the sanctuary, we see Matovu written on above the bima. But this could be said quietly. We don't do it at our Zion. But the interesting, one of the features of the morning minyan, on a regular day, a day that is not Shabbat, a day that is not a festival, a day that is not marked, it's just a regular day, lachol it's called, we wear tefillin, talit in the morning and tefillin. And there is the bracha for putting on the tefillin, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, which is the standard form of a blessing for doing an action. Lehitatef batzitzit. That's putting on the tefillin, and teach this to all the B'nai Mitzvah kids. And they learn how to do that. In fact, we do that publicly.
Isn't that the first one is the talit?
First is talit, yes.
Right.
So first you put on talit, and then we put on the tefillin. The tefillin should be put on properly. You put on the arm one, the shel yad, which has the same formula, bracha, kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, lehaniach tefillin. The putting on of the tefillin. So that's the first part, and you put it around your forearm, but you stop before you put the symbolic leather wrapping, which makes the letter shin, because everything is symbolic, and with tefillin, and then you put the shel rosh on, and there is also a blessing for that. And then we have a very interesting part here. If you see on your screen, as we wind the strap 3 times around the middle finger, we say, Ve'erastich li leolam, ve'erastich li betzedek, umishpat, uvechesed, uverachamim. Ve'erastich li be'emunah, Yadat et Adonai. Now, you might recognize those words, which are also recited at a wedding.
Wedding, huh?
And because we're saying to Adonai, I betroth you to me forever. I betroth you to me with righteousness and justice. I betroth you to me with faithfulness. Then shall you be at one. And it's from Hosea. It's from one of the prophets. And I thought I would share a melody with that. I think I have to stop a second because I forgot to share screen. Yes, but also share.
What's the significance of the finger that you wrap it around?
Well, the tefillin are loaded with inside, with script, with quotes from scripture, but
Okay.
outside, as well as the box having letters on it, shin, on the fingers, you wrap the tefillin so that you have a letter shin around your wrist,
Okay.
and you have the letter yud on your on the other end of the box that kind of sticks out at your arm, and then around your finger you have dalet, and the shin, daled, and yud spell the word Shaddai, which is a name of God. So that's the significance of that.
Okay, thank you.
And here is a very nice setting of that. Now, we don't, like I said, in the morning, we kind of just rush through it, but this could be done. And this is an interesting, I found this cantor, Leopold Schneer, who has an interesting background, a nice story. He was born in Munich in 1921. I doubt if he's still alive. And he always wanted to become a cantor. Beginning in 1938, he was taken from his family and placed in the Dachau concentration camp. He was released only to be rearrested and sent to another camp, but he eventually escaped and went to Brussels and evaded the Nazis. And after the war, he became a cantor. He emigrated to the United States, and he had his career in Los Angeles, where he was the cantor of Congregation Mogen David, Magan David, Mogen David, we say, the same name as the wine. And he is sung at the White House and for Elie Wiesel. But this is a very precious little recording. Now, do you still see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me put it back on the Hebrew, and let's listen to Cantor Schneer.
Okay.
ורשתיך לי לעולם, ורשתיך לי בצדק משפט ובחסד וברחמים, ורשתיך לי באמונה וידעת את
Very nice moment to start the morning. And then we go to the next page, the famous page 4. Every morning, if you attend Minyan with us, we begin on page 4. And Vladimir always has a joke about it, like, what page do we start on today? Page 4. Page 4. In fact, but that's only in the past 10 years because we used to start on page 8 because we had a different book. But it's kind of a punchline. All
Andrew,
right, page 8.
can I ask you a question?
Of course.
When you're reading from the Torah, you have I don't forgot what they call them, but they have little notes, that
Oh yeah, the tropes.
tropes, right?
Yeah.
So were these at one time? Did they have tropes as well?
For the service itself.
Yeah.
No. They aren't tropes, but each service is assigned a particular nusach, which means a scale. There's a special scale to not only each service, but each part of each service. So it becomes major and it becomes minor. And within those scales, if you stay in that scale, you're doing the right thing. It's not the service is not specifically written out. That's just a matter of creativity among composers and cantors to within the scale. If they stay within that scale, they're doing the service part right. Any of the Hebrew Bible does have tropes on it, and also the Megillot, not just Purim, but the Megillah of Ruth and Ecclesiastes. Those parts have specific tropes on every word. But when it comes to the service, it's just a scale that you should stay within. And that's why you hear so many different variations in cantorial music, or just even like the trend to do more folk kind of music. Technically, it should stay within that scale. And so on the famous page 4, which is where we start our chanting out loud, which probably is a pretty common place to start. It's a beautiful piece of liturgy. Elohai nishama shenatata bi tehorahi. The soul that you, my God, have given me is pure. Elohai nishama. And I found a nice, speaking of a folk or a kind of a modern kind of take, I found this Elohai Nishama by an irresistible couple who live in Israel. They seem to be Orthodox people. She wears I hope it doesn't sound insulting, but she wears a shmata around her head. And they're a young couple, and they harmonize together. And they're called Yonina, and they have little kids. I thought I had a picture of them. Yes, I do. I don't know how to share and yet another picture. You don't see that, do you?
Not the picture, no.
I'll have to stop this share and start another one.
Okay.
So 1 second. I think you'll enjoy seeing what they look like.
Yeah.
This one is here. Here we go. How do I do this? Audio. No. Here we go. Stop share. So I start again. Excuse me. Share screen.
It's not like a paper and a pencil where you just wrote something down. Oh, they're beautiful, Stuart.
Aren't they lovely people looking?
Yeah. Oh, she's
Very
adorable.
And so if you look that up later at Yonina, and they have 2 little children. They look like the Glicks. Their kids are small.
But they're such a sweet looking couple.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if they're American or if she's American or if they're Israeli. But
And do they make recordings? Is that what?
yeah, they do. They do. There's I'll actually what I'll do is this. Let me take this, copy this, and chat.
I like the schmata on her head better than the wig. I think that looks better.
All right, here's a link to videos of everything that they. It's from an article, and then they posted all the videos.
Oh,
So
okay.
let me close this off.
Chat.
And share that and sound. And here is Elohai Neshama. So you can follow the Hebrew text.
Okay.
Here we go.
אלוהי, נשמה שנתת בי, טהורה היא, טהורה היא. אלוהי, נשמה שנתת בי, טהורה היא, טהורה היא. אתה בראתה, אתה יצרת, ואתה משמרה בקרבי, טהורה היא. אתה בראתה, אתה יצרת, ואתה משמרה בקרבי, טהורה היא.
They went back and forth. And now they're going to the next text. Yata Shamra.
אלוהי, נשמה שנתת בי, טהורה היא, טהורה היא. אלוהי, נשמה שנתת בי, טהורה היא, טהורה היא. אתה בראתה, אתה יצרת, ואתה משמרה בקרבי, טהורה היא. אתה בראתה, אתה יצרת, ואתה משמרה בקרבי, טהורה היא, טהורה היא.
I guess that they only do the first stanza.
אתה בראתה, אתה יצרת, ואתה משמרה בקרבי, טהורה היא. אתה בראתה, אתה יצרת, ואתה משמרה בקרבי, טהורה היא, טהורה היא.
They're really beautiful couple.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a little more research on them. They
They're very good.
really are. I like them. Thank you. Glad you like it. Well, so that's the paragraph that we start on, the famous page 4, and there's a lot in the Birchat Hashachar. We do this. We go to page 6 in our minyan, which is the morning blessings. And we go through this. It's usually the leader just does them. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'sech vivina le'evchin ben yom uven laila. So that's the scale that I was talking about before. And at this point, the scale is a major scale. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'sech vivina le'evchin ben yom uven laila, etc. So we do all these blessings, and
So if we
then
were to go to another shul, would the melody be the same, or is it that your
most
melody?
likely.
It would
Most
be.
likely, but there are like I said, the scale probably would be the same.
Okay,
But in an Orthodox shul, they probably wouldn't even do it out loud. It would just be like everybody's just kind of mumbling,
to themselves.
and this may not be something that's done the way that we do it, but it is a standard part of the morning service. And after that, because the old book, a lot of synagogues do the Psalm of the day at this point in the service. Obviously, sometimes there's some. It can be done at the end of the service as well. So I went too far. So the Psalm of the day is exactly what it is. It's a different psalm each day. Yom Rishon is on. I'm getting there. One. See, it's in this book. Some people do it after the Kaddish Shalem and after Aleinu even.
Well, it's like
So,
Sunday,
should be on
Monday, the
page.
different ones, yeah.
It's the next page, I think. 85.
Yeah, it is. It's
no.
after the mourner's Kaddish.
Right.
So here's your psalm for Sunday, and it's Hayom Yom Rishon b'Shabbat Shebu Hayu Halvi Omerim Beveit Hamikdash. And the translation is on the first day of the week, and then the Levites recited this psalm. So we imagine that this has been done since biblical times, since the time of the temple. And Mizmor LeDavid, and I have another recording, a melody. It never would be done on a morning service like this, but the famous words of Se'u Sha'arim in the middle of this psalm. It's lift high your lintels, O you gates, open wide you ancient doors. You know those words very well. And the melody you might recognize. It's a composition by Naumburg. This, in the Jewish music world, he's one of the pillars of the traditional synagogue music, not the cantorial style, but more of the central, like the German style, although he was French. And this Samuel Naumburg lived till 1880, and he arrived in Paris from Munich. So he was German, but he had his career in Paris, and he was very musical. He was recommended for his synagogue job by the famous opera composer Jacques Halevi, and so a lot of his compositions kind of are reminiscent of French opera, because he also was in the circle with Jacques Offenbach, the great opera composer, and Giacomo Meyerbeer, the Jewish opera composers of the time. So let's listen to the wonderful cantor in New York, who is at the Park Avenue Synagogue.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Ozzy Schwartz. And this is his. This is a production of him singing the famous Naumburg Seu Sha'ari. That's Ozzy Schwartz. Chorus is repeating what the cantor just did.
Choir, Stuart?
Yeah. Well, the European, the Central European, the Paris, the French, and Germans really embraced the church sound. They brought organs and choirs into the synagogue. Sounds like opera, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it's the last two lines is what we're singing in.
Now, where would they do this? I mean, would they do that at the Minyan?
No, they don't. No, but this. You might recognize that this psalm is sung for the Hakafah, taking the Torah back
Okay.
on a festival that is not Shabbat.
Not Shabbat.
So most likely that's what he wrote it for.
It's beautiful.
Oh, it's marvelous.
He has a beautiful voice.
Yes.
And the Park Synagogue is a beautiful synagogue. We were there. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I can share a story that I went there when I lived in New York and was studying. I went to Park Avenue Synagogue for a Shabbat, and that morning the Haftorah was chanted by a member, Eli Wiesel.
Oh, how wonderful.
And I'll
That's so
never
beautiful.
forget that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I bet. What year, do you remember the year, Stuart?
Probably the mid 80s.
Wow,
Probably
that
would have
was
been
beautiful.
85, 86. But I'll never forget, he was very quiet. He was very competent. He knew exactly what he was doing. I mean, he was just raised in that tradition, and it was. I always think of that when I chant the Haftorah, and
It's
I
a
try to be
memorable-
like. I try to be more like him. but
Yeah,
I
that's a
can't help it. Yeah.
memorable thing.
Yeah, yeah. It was no big deal. It was just he was just a member, and you
Did
know.
his
he was-
Haftorah.
Yeah, nice. Well, so there is a psalm for each day, and according to what the Levites sang supposedly for each day, and after that, at our minyan, we go back to right before the Baruch Hu, 2 pages before. Let me get it on your screen. We're going to be on page 29 now. No, yes, that's right. And so here's a shift in the scale of the way that a proper morning service is chanted during the week. It goes into a minor scale. And we go to, let's see. Do you hear that minor? I don't know if you heard that piano that I was playing.
Yeah.
Because this is right before the Chatzi Kaddish. You know, a half Kaddish is done as a marker between sections of the service. So that scale is continued. That's down here, and it continues with the Chatzi Kaddish. So that scale is kept up, and then you've got the Baruch Hu, and that's the call to prayer, as you know. And then we have the blessings that are before the Shema, and we've got the Kadosh, 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 Baruch. Or Chadash. Interesting. There's a nice little moment. You know, you'll know Or Chadash also. It's in the liturgy of Shabbat.
Shabbat, right.
Yeah. So
That's how I can find my place when I see.
yeah, go
Or
ahead.
Chadash.
Good. Let's see. So on the during the week, kind of in that Or Chadash al Zion Ta'ir v'nizkech ulanu me'era li'oro Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'me'oro. I found a nice recording of Or Chadash, and this is by someone who's very big in the Reform movement. Her name is Beth Schaefer. Did I get that? Oh, I see.
Before our congregation, you were actually at a Reform congregation, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
Yeah,
Beth
and were the
Tikva.
melodies different that you did there, or did you do pretty much
No, because
Sure.
most of the members wanted to be conservative.
conservative? Okay.
But it's interesting. Rabbi Gamron, who founded the synagogue, the committee that started that Beth Tikva in Hoffman Estates were disappointed by the conservative movement as far as their accommodating them. But the reform movement, they were there. They answered right away, and so they for the most part they appreciated the style that I was taught for more conservative.
Good. Uh-huh.
Yeah, right.
Are they still there, Stuart? B'nai Tikva?
They're doing very well. You
Yeah.
know, Charles lives like
He lives
3 blocks
close.
away.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had the 50th anniversary of the synagogue, of the temple, about 5 years ago, and Rabbi Gamron came and they invited all the past clergy.
Oh,
So
nice.
I was really happy and honored to go there for a Friday night service.
That was nice.
Yeah, thanks. So let's listen to a version of Or Hadash.
Gosh.
That's Schaefer. With a guitar, of course.
אור חדש, אור חדש, על ציון תאיר. אור חדש, אור חדש, על ציון תאיר. ונזכה כולנו מהרה אורו, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו.
She plays guitar herself and composes.
אור חדש, אור חדש, על ציון תאיר. אור חדש, אור חדש, על ציון תאיר. ונזכה כולנו מהרה אורו, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו.
Not everybody's cup of tea, but that was pretty
But it's
pleasant.
nice. She has a nice, pleasant voice.
I like it. Fine.
Yeah, I like it.
On page 32, we're moving on, just in the very next page, we have the prayer about God's love for us. Deep is your love for us, Adonai. Ahavat Rabbah Ahavtanu. And it's become a custom in our shul to do the middle paragraph just to wake everybody up. Veha er einenu, which means open our eyes to your Torah, help our hearts cleave to your mitzvot. A very famous melody written by Rabbi Glick's great uncle, Shlomo Karlebach. Veha er einenu b'toratecha v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha. So there's a moment that you can break away from just the chant and the nusach and do like a melody.
They make some more interesting.
Then we get to the
too.
Shema, and there are the tropes that you talked about, Morris. And why are there tropes on the Via Havta?
Well, this is
Because
from the
it's
Torah,
a
right?
direct quote from the Torah. And often what we do in our synagogue and many synagogues do, we chant it in the way that it's chanted in the Torah. And you'll be confused because Charles doesn't really do that melody, but there are variations within the scale for the tropes. He does trope, not necessarily the same, the tropes that are written on each word. And I'm letting out a little secret. Maybe everybody knows this already, but he's got so much to learn that he just knows where the verse begins, where the verse ends, and he's got his method. And he follows the tropes, but not all the time. He kind of improvises. But but when you hear me and the kids that I teach, they do the correct tropes. V'ahavta. You see, the word v'ahavta has two tropes on it, and the tropes are called munach and katon. So if you learn the tropes, it would be munach katon, which becomes v'ahavta. Just a very quick little orientation about.
So
trope.
anytime that
And
something is
there
taken
are
from
the
the
three
Torah,
sections
there's tropes
that ends
stored,
with Vayomer.
anytime there's
Pandemic
something
times
taken from the
we
Torah,
shorten
there
it
are
a little
tropes.
bit. Maybe someday we'll do the whole Vayomer. But there is just a little more, where there's the Micha Mocha, which is right before the before the Amidah. And it's a progression. It starts to tell the story. And so by the time we get to Micha Mocha, we're talking about Moses leading the children of Israel to Sinai, and where they sing, Miriam sings, who is like you among the gods? Who is like you, Adonai, among all that is worship, etc., etc. And then there's the Amidah, which if you do it in the style that we do, instead of all silent and then we go back and do the whole thing repetition, we do the Amidah, the beginning breath blessings, the three beginning blessings out loud, and then we go silent. And the morning minyan correctly would have a different melody than during Shabbat or festivals. So let's rush through that, the silent part. And I always have a great time with the kids when I teach them prayers. I say, oh, and this is the silent part. Who wants to do the silent part? And the kids all raise their hands. They want to do the high. Oh, and then it's okay, you have to audition for me. And so, okay.
Cute.
Very good, very good.
It's funny.
So that's the joke about the
Gotta
silent.
have humor with them or they don't listen.
And
right?
so this is we're scrolling through the Amidah, the silent Amidah, and on Mondays and Thursdays, as you well know, we have a little Torah reading, a little taste of Torah, and our Siddur during the week also has the Hallel service, which we're not going to get into because that's an extraordinary situation. Not extraordinary, but the Hallel is done like during Hanukkah, during Pesach, on Rosh Chodesh, and a few other times that the Hallel is done. So let's skip ahead to where are we going to go? After Hallel, we go to page 62. Which will be 61, 62. Vayomer David el Gad Sar li meod. Still kind of that scale in this part. I think I have something coming up. Yeah. So this is the Tachanun service, which is brief. And sometimes the Shomer Yisrael is sung. It's another one of these moments that where we add a sing along, and I think you all know this melody too. Shomer Shomer Yisrael, Shemor Sherit Yisrael, Shomer Shomer Yisrael, Shemor Sherit Yisrael. V'al Yovad Yisrael, V'al Yovad Yisrael, Haomerim Shema Yisrael. Shomer, the guardian of Israel, guard the remnant of Israel, that's us, and preserve their people Israel, and to those who proclaim Shema Yisrael. Here's another nice setting of Shomer Yisrael, sung by someone is known in the congregation, again through Rabbi Glick. This is a relative of his, the daughter of Shlomo Karlebach, and her name is Neshama Karlebach. And this is her version of, I think this is her father's composition, but she recorded many of his melodies. So here is Neshama Karlebach singing Shomer Yisrael. Sorry, here it is.
Shomer, Shomer Yisrael, Shemo Sherit Yisrael, Shemo Sherit Yisrael, V'yovad Yisrael, Haomerim Shema Yisrael. Shomer, Shomer Yisrael, Shomer, Shomer Yisrael, Shemo Sherit Yisrael, Shemo Sherit Yisrael, V'yovad Yisrael, Haomerim Shema Yisrael, Shomer, Shomer Yisrael, Shomer, Shomer Yisrael, Shemo Sherit Yisrael, Shemo Sherit Yisrael, V'yovad Yisrael, Haomerim Shema Yisrael, Haomerim Shema Yisrael, Yisrael, Haomerim Shema Yisrael.
Very nice.
You like that?
Nice, yes, Stuart,
Yeah,
nice.
Neshama, she's lovely. Adir really loves her.
He's been trying to get her to come here.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I hope that happens. That would be nice. Well, that's part of the Tachanun service. If there's a Torah reading on Monday or Thursday, you skip the Tachanun and you go straight to the Torah service. And it's a short Torah service, you know, that you just you begin your contemplation about the reading that week. So you only do the first aliyah in split into three different aliyahs. So it's quite short. And then the concluding prayers begin with yet again another Ashrei, and we recite the Ashrei. And let's go to, I think I have to skip ahead to page 78. Too far. 77. Right. Here's your Ashrei, praising God from A to Z. And to break things up at our morning minyan, we do it the second time in English.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that when you do that.
Yeah. And the concluding prayers continue with this excerpt from Psalm 20, Lamnatseach Mizmor LeDavid, a Psalm of David. And so this is, may God answer you in time of trouble. There's a Biyom Tzara. In Yiddish, you would call it Tzuris. And Yom, on the day of Tzuris. And I think I've got a nice little recording of this done in the, let's see, Psalm 20. Oh, sorry.
למנצח מזמור לדוד, יענך אדוני ביום צרה, ישגבך השם אלוהי יעקב, ישלח עזרך מקודש, ומציון יסעדך, יזכור כל מנחותיך, ועולתך ידשן סלע, ייתן לך חלבביך, וכל עצתך ימלא, נרננה בישועתך, ושם אלוהינו ננגול, ימלא אדוני כל משאלותיך, עתה ידעתי, כי הושיע אדוני משיחו יענהו משם קודשו, בגבורות ישע ימינו, אלה ברכב ולבסוסים, ואנחנו בשם אדוני אלוהינו נזכיר, המה קרעו ונפלו, ואנחנו קמנו ונתעודד, אדוני הושיע, המלך יעננו ויום קוראנו.
So I think that is more of an Orthodox. You might hear that in Israel with an Orthodox Sephardic style.
Yeah, it seemed like Sephardic style.
Yes. We have another silent part coming up. These are the concluding prayers. Uva l'Tzion Goel. Adonai has assured a redeemer for Zion, for those house of Jacob who turn from sin. Uva l'Tzion Goel l'shavei fesha v'Yaakov ne'um Adonai. Usually this is done silently, introduced by the leader, and I like this paragraph. Nizot beriti otam. Adonai has said, "This is my covenant with them. My spirit shall remain with you and with your descendants. My words shall be upon your lips and upon the lips of your children and your children's children, now and forever, God willing." Okay, well, we hope. Ani zod beriti otam amar Adonai. A modern composition that sometimes I do by Cantor Davidson. I think they may have skipped something. Mizmor Shir Chanukat Habayit. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I meant to do one more recording back when we changed the nusach on page 14. There, I went too far. It's this paragraph before the mourner's Kaddish and and I think you're going to like this, and I think it's okay to finish with this. 9. So we're going back. Right after the Birchot HaShachar. Means I think I explained that here the nusach changes. One second. Mizmor Shir Chanukat Habayit. No, actually, I didn't. We didn't do this. I forgot about this page. So this is after the psalm of the day. Mizmor. No. I'm a little confused myself. No, this is before that. This is before that. So. Again, this is you're going to hear a chanting, which is in the Spanish Portuguese tradition. So here's Psalm. No, wait a minute, did I get that right? I just did that. Mizmor Shir. This is yes. Okay. Mizmor Shir Chanukat Habayit.
מזמור שיר חנוכת חבאי לדוד.
That's right.
ארוממך אדוני גידליתני ולא שמחת לי. אדוני אלוהי שיבית אליך ותיפאני.
So again, this is something that is more typical of a morning service. Just chant it, get it out, and do it in a pleasant way, but not an elaborate composition. So let's listen to that again.
אדוני גידליתני ולא שמחת לי.
Let me start you off so you.
ארוממך אדוני גידליתני ולא שמחת לי. אדוני אלוהי שיבית אליך ותיפאני. אדוני דמישון נפשי הייתן מיד דיבור. זמרו לאדוני חסידה והודו לזהר קודשו. כי רגע באפו חיים ברצונו. בערב ילין בכי ולבוקר רינה. ואני אמרתי ושלוי בא למות לעולם. אדוני ברצונך חמדת להרי עוז. הסתרת פניך הייתי נבחל. אליך אדוני אקרא ואל אדוני אתחנן. מה בצע בדמי בריתי אל שחת. היודוך עפר היגיד עמיתך. שמע אדוני וחנני. אדוני היה עוזר לי. הפקת מספן למחולי, פיתקת שקי ותעשני שמחה. למען יזמרך כבוד ולא ידום. אדוני אלוהי, לעולם עודך.
Kind of nice. So that's we don't chant the whole thing, but that would be more of a traditional. We start it and finish it, and you noticed at the end it became more of a melody, which I think brings people together and marks the end of the service. That was I just found this guy online. He does it he davens in the Spanish Portuguese tradition. Juan Bejar Gutierrez.
Ah.
Now you know the rest of the story.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for your attention. This was
Yeah, next time I'll tell Sheila to send out a reminder. So more
great.
people know.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, it was good, enjoyed it.
Oh, great. Glad you showed up. Nice to see you.
Have a
Always
good
good-
Mexico trip, Stuart.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Adios.
Be safe.
Adios.
Thank
Hasta
you,
la vista.
Hasta la vista. Yeah, right.
baby.
Bye.